But did you have any conversations like growing up around conflict?
Ones I mean, are the ones that will be
Taking your end, fight your battle, stand your ground.
default us to fight, even till now.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
With every new generation that emerges, patterns change, styles change, even people change. But does conflict change? Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Ochoa, your neighborhood expert on all things conflict management, dispute resolution, and healthy dialogue. Today, I'm joined by 3 special guests who are perfectly suited to discuss conflict in this context. This is LTAI Table. Let's meet our guests.
Hi, I'm Nisini. I'm from you.
Hello, I'm Dalak Bodarahola and I'm Gen X.
Hello, my name is Buntupa Daramola and I am Gen Z.
Lovely to meet you all. Thank you all so much for being here. So I wanted to have this conversation because of my own personal experiences with conflict across generations. Because we are all a part of different families, we get to experience conflict across generations, from our parents to our siblings. I think in my own family, I have definitely a boomer, a Gen X, a millennial, Gen Z, and even Gen Alpha to some extent. And I wanted us to explore this conversation. And my first question here today is, I want everyone to answer you from your own experience. What was the conversation around conflict like when you were growing up, if you had that conversation? So I'm talking about maybe when you started school, the conversations that your parents will have with you. If someone hits you in class, do this. If someone does this to you when you get to school, tell the teacher. What kind of conversations, if any, were had when you were growing up around conflict? Mr. Julian, start us off.
Okay, well, for my generation, I would say our parents were quite strict on us and they didn't expect you to come home and report or they were not ready to fight for you. If it wasn't extreme, in fact, if you come home to report and say someone beat you up or something, they'll tell you to go back.
And fight for yourself,
Yes.
right? So that there was that expectation that everybody should be able to fight their own battles.
Yes.
I love that. Isn't it? How about you?
I think my own way is also somehow related to Bears and JC. I mean, I would just say us as millennials, we're like the middle.
Yes.
Do you
middle ground,
understand? So we understand this and we understand just stay there.
right.
Do you understand? So it's somehow Gen Z and
Somehow millennial,
many Gen X.
X.
Well, yeah. So we are just there. We understand this. We understand that because during their own era, it's more like tradition. They have like rules. So exactly. So growing up and also meeting up with technologies, we just
Very like in the middle.
how will I put it in one mediation? Like you settle the both.
In contact with guys. But did you have any conversations like growing up around conflict, whether it be your mom, your dad? Did anyone ever give you any like word of wisdom, anything that's stuck in your mind? If I get in a fight, this is what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, there are a lot. Yeah, a lot. I remember growing up like as a teenager, my mom would be like, "Don't allow anybody to touch you in a particular way." So we just have this knowledge that once you have reached a puberty area, you just have to protect. Don't allow any guy and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And my dad as well will be like, just mind how you talk to people or mind what you do. Do you understand? So it's they are streets. Do you understand? So we grew up with that and that.
Yeah. So I think there's like a key difference here is like in this D generation, it's more like fight your battle, stand your ground. But then by the time we start getting to like millennials, it's like literally protect yourself. Try to prevent yourself from even finding yourself in that kind of situation.
So in other words, we just grew up in a more street and
kind of relaxed.
Yeah.
I think I understand what you mean. How about you, Mr. Anything different?
Yeah, I mean, my upbringing was different because as a first child and daughter, I was supposed to be a good example, right? And not fight, but unfortunately, I'm a fighter. So it used to be the opposite for me, where when conflicts would arise, my parents would tell me, "Oh, go out, you need to be a bigger person, you need to be the example, so that you're a good example for your siblings." But my default is to fight, even for now. Right? So anytime, even before I sense any conflict or before there's an actual manifestation of any kind of conflict, I have already fighting. But my parents were like, "Oh no, like girl, you're not a sister. You should be a good example. Don't fight. You can always be the bigger person." Boring.
I love that you're saying that because it also takes me to my next question, right? So from the initial conversations, we're already hearing some of the differences. We know that, okay, things are different from one generation to another, but personality traits and individual characteristics also play a really big role, I think. So do you think that character has more to do with how we even manage conflict beyond even what we're being told at home in our generations? Like what you really want to do in your heart will still rise to the top.
Yes. I want to give you an example of my parents. My dad, he was a lecturer and he was kind of very laid back, very, very, you could do whatever you wanted to do so far as you're not going to the extreme. But my mom was the opposite and she was very, 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 very strict. I can tell you, I wasn't allowed to wear earrings until I got into university. And then you can imagine not going from not going to wear earrings to going to the extreme because I actually rebelled and went. That was when my character came out. I had to behave because I'm also a first child and a first daughter, and I had to be responsible. But by the time I got to university, I didn't want that. And my daddy allowed me to do what I wanted.
Yeah.
I told him I wasn't going to go home for like 6 months, and he said, "Well, how do you?"
Yeah.
And so I did everything I could do. I pierced my hairs. I wore the shortest of. I did everything to incite conflict, actually. But he didn't respond. He just kept on having the phone. And my mom would send me letters because no phones. Write me nasty notes and send people to me. And I would also look and roll my eyes and say, "You can't get me." And it was because of the fact that she was so strict. And in the end, I calmed down because my dad still kept on showing the love. And he will keep on saying, he will call me and say, "Don't that's scared, you catch cold." He won't tell you, he won't shout, but he will just tell me, "You catch cold," or your lecturer will start looking at your tights. Those things like that. He will never shout or anything.
Yeah.
He will actually he was enjoying it. And after some time, I remember I had 3 year-olds, and how he got me to remove the third one, it was so funny. Because he let me wear out. At times obviously will laugh. And then after some she come and said, "I tried to tone it down a bit. It's obvious that you're rebelling, and me, I'm having my fun, but your mom is going to be having BP. So just remove this 1 year. You can keep the two." And that's why I have to.
I love that. So he found his own way to communicate with you.
Yes.
And so that's how his own personality was able to kind of combat and prevent conflict from even coming in that sense.
Thank you. How about you, Isabel?
Still the middle, still everything. Do you understand? I can relate to her. Or my dad was, I would say, really strict. He was just there, but we actually have a rule in our house. Once it's 6 p.m., you're just, no matter what you're doing or where you're going or anything. So I think that also play a role in growing up.
Yeah.
So even when I remember when I was growing up, once it's 6 I'm already running. Like I literally can't explain.
Yeah.
So my dad would be like, "Where are you? What are you doing there? Just come back home." So growing up and Gen Z come into place, I think everything was now, he was able to like understand that, okay, this is that you're out doesn't mean you're being wayward, if I can use that word, you understand? So it's also played a deep role in my upbringing. So I'm more like reserved. Yeah, more like reserved. For my mom, on the other hand, my mom understands. Women are just naturally calm. My mom understand everything. Like, okay, just do this, do you do that one, do that one.
So do you think you having that reserved nature also shows up in like conflict situations, how you manage conflict?
Yeah,
You are more
lying back. Exactly.
trying to prevent yourself from getting into it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm very different, but I don't think I'm like I generally am reserved or calm in my nature. One of my parents, and I'm not saying who is also they're very like conflict prone, very hard. Also, I would say that I grew up in a very political time where things like my womanhood and my being in a society as a woman was put me in a place of vulnerability, right? And I grew up in a very feminist and political environment.
Yeah.
And for particularly when I went to university, those are one of the most aggressive. That was one of the most aggressive time of my life because if you were not seen as fighting, you were not you were not seen as someone else supporting the movement. Essentially, I was still a little bit, right, very aggressively against any sense, like I said before, manifestation of any form of patriarchal or sexist, misogynistic manifestation around me. That my character as a woman and my being as a woman, and then my character is already foundationally not a calm and reserved one.
Yeah.
Needed so that I react very, very strongly against any form of oppression. Yeah. Any time I feel like someone's looking at me the wrong way. No, just good to be funny. before you look at me, I've already what I do, like what are you doing? I feel like as a woman, particularly when you grow up in this kind of society where you have to defend yourself, it is a defense mechanism.
Yes.
You have to be ahead of them. People are taking advantage of women all the time. Even people like mechanics, security guards, men of any kind of character, nature, sex, well, rich or not rich, poor, whatever. People are always taking advantage of women. I just always feel like, even my dad asked me once, like, why do I feel like they need to always fight all the time? And I don't like it's because I feel like people are always taking advantage of me generally. So obviously, like my character informs my reaction a lot of times, but I'll say like society and my surroundings
As well.
also informs a lot of my like the way I deal with conflict.
Do you think that there are any characteristics or personality traits that are more prone to certain generations than others? So do you think more Gen Z people would be able to relate with what you're saying in terms of that personality type of like, I always feel like I need to fight?
Yeah, so I would say Gen X and Gen Z. I think millennials are just I don't know what show. Right? They are just so yeah, like they don't talk about things. They always try and like look at the other side. Whereas where I was from and my friends around my age group, whenever something looks right, we're always quick to call it out, talk it out, address it. But and you find that you hear from your older relatives, female relatives, for example, particularly women, they're older, so boomers, Gen Zs. Whenever any man, for example, their husband or their uncle or their brother was counting advantage of them, they will fight him. Right, and they would step and they will blow them and they will be aggressive and like if it matters them they'll snap back. But you see that I don't know if it's Christianity or whenever when God came and introduced some kind of calmness, millennials they are the ones that will tell you that the Bible says like when you slap one chick, it's only like Thursday. Meanwhile, you meet your auntie and you tell you they're beating their husbands, right? Or you meet them. So I would say like millennials are just the only one out for me.
Do we all agree that from Gen X to millennials, it seems like there was some kind of transition where
To me, I think they just kind of developed another way to settle conflict. Because I have a sister that is a millennial and she just goes silent. You could just jump around and do whatever, and do all the theoretics and everything. And she's just there looking at you. She's still going to do what she's still going to do. But she's just going to, after some time, just leave her. Because she'll just tell you once and that's it. And she's not fighting and not doing anything. While I will be the drama and cry and shout and be angry and think of all the oppression in the world that our men are so wicked and this. And then she's there like, hey, why are you doing that? Just say words. You don't have to even answer. You don't even have to reply. So,
Is she a Christian?
yes, she's actually a Christian.
I have a theory. Let's
hear the theory.
and like religion is the reason for the calmness, which is good. Like
But religion has existed across all generations.
I don't think it's
I don't say
I just
calmness.
privilege as it was is the
I wouldn't call it calmness because like keeping quiet, but your body language and even that your kind of I don't really send. I'll use that
It's
word.
silent protest.
Yes, I'll call it a silent protest. Incite the other person, and the other person is
Because it's triggering the other person.
yes, they are triggering the other
But
person.
that's very healthy. Like even religion, even politics, and you can even look if you're in a society, I can tell why millennials act this way. They're used to not being able to speak up.
Yes.
And it's literally like it's indoctrination from politics, from religion, where you look at the leaders and you say you cannot really speak against. It's why when there's a protest, you see that Gen Zs are the front runners of protest. But you see like men and say, okay, can we have like a town hall meeting?
But where do you think that Gen Zs are getting that from? Because a lot of millennials are also parenting Gen
Now,
Z.
let me tell you that.
So where is that?
Gen X, we are the parents of Gen Zs now.
Yep.
And
Correct.
you look at the things that you didn't like in your own upbringing, and then you try to make up for it. So I trained my children to be able to speak up
Yeah.
where I couldn't speak up.
Yes.
I trained them to stand for themselves, to speak their mind, not to lie. See your mind, nothing's gonna happen to you.
Yeah.
We went out that way. We're not trained that way. Yeah, you will see that most Gen Zs, they're so confident. There was this thing I saw. There was a time that this is something was going on online about this girl from this minister that was accusing one young cadet, or was it?
Oh yes.
The Air Force guy.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Sir, I'm not a fool."
Yes.
And everybody was so amazed. Everybody was talking, and I was like, that's Gen Z for you.
Yeah.
They will tell you they're not. You will tell my son he's a fool. He will tell you he's not. Because to him he's not. If you say You tell my daughter, your makeup, say, don't bring it down. Don't body shame me. They react quick.
Yeah, quick.
And we train them to be like that. We spent our money to give them that confidence that we did have.
So it's like Gen X crawled so that Gen Z could walk.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You know, he was like,
Well, looking forward to
That we are calm does not mean that.
But
Yeah.
in Gen Alpha, you know, they are giving back to Gen Alpha. And those ones are
there was.
There was.
Gen Z.
I mean, we just understand the boots, we understand it is, you understand that. So that's more maybe if something should occur, we're just quiet because we know what is going to happen. Do you understand?
Do you think there was like a bit of complacency, like because you've seen that?
Yes,
How
exactly.
you feel like he doesn't really achieve much. So now you come to this place where you're just like, let me calculate it.
Exactly. So we are just the one always explaining. If you see maybe Gen X, they will be maybe and Gen Z. They might just talk to, but us as millennials will be like, no, they don't mean that they are not
like
insulting.
translator.
Exactly. We are always doing that, but that doesn't mean that we are calm or.
Would you feel like your tolerance is higher?
Yes.
Compared to yes, I really high.
We are more pretentious. Like
Yes, but exactly.
yeah, we just try to. We understand this, but we ignore it.
Particularly in a workplace setting, like corporate setting, you find that millennials are the ones that will be endure.
Exactly.
You endure past. But the Gen Zs that I know, when I used to work,
Let me bend it to you.
5 o'clock, and you see them packing their things. There's nothing anybody can say. So we'll start showing you their contracts now.
Why is it feel like that? Exactly. So us we feel like, please let's just be
As they get Gen Z is, you know what makes you like they get traumatized so easily, and they're all about their mental health. And I'm wondering,
yeah, because during their era, everything.
it's not all as issues when we were growing
Yes, but don't you think that Gen Zs are trying to prevent themselves from getting to the point that they see that their parents, their older ones have reached? Because everybody struggles with these mental health issues, right? But the generations before us, a lot of them didn't handle it properly. They endure to the point of breakdown. So I feel like a lot of Gen Zs see that and they're like, I don't want to get to that point. They know how bad things can end. So they prioritize their mental, they prioritize themselves early.
And you know, I want to say tradition too.
Yeah.
Yes, tradition, this culture.
Yeah.
Especially African culture.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it. It's when these Gen Zs that you start hearing about mental health and being traumatized. Those days, if anything happens to you, keep quiet. Or you accept it as your lot. Or you try as much as possible to just do something quietly. But it's through them that we start hearing about the fact that you have to protect your mental health. We never used to hear about that. I don't think my parents ever protected any mental health. They didn't care about any mental health. Anything.
Because even if you're so angry, you're suffering from heartbreak, and you just want to. My mom did like the plates. What is wrong? Why are you sleeping there? Go and do what you meant.
And then also the boys don't
You understand?
Yeah.
You have, and that's why we have Jesus, Gen X. Most of the men, they are so unfeeling and insensitive. And why? Because they bottle up a lot.
Yes.
And I'm sorry to say, a lot of them have mommy issues. They have mommy issues.
No thoughts.
No thoughts?
Yeah, no thoughts. I just feel like if I was to have a thought, yes, the culture of silence. I don't think that Gen X really took it well.
Yes.
Millennials definitely
accepted it.
yeah, less from them. Particularly in the workplace, you find that HR sorry are the worst people are Gen Z.
Yeah.
And then they're the best are millennials because you can actually start them
Do anything to them.
So one time in the office, my ex place of work, one adult spoke so rudely to me. She's a millennial, and I didn't know what she was expecting. Like I didn't know what she thought would happen, but I blasted her back even more than I blocked her. So I think when I was confronted, it was like, oh, she's an adult, she's senior. Why would you say that to her? I think my question was, I think I'm addressing the wrong thing. Yeah. Why did she feel like she should
say that to you?
Say that to me.
In that way.
And it was more like, oh, she's trying to respect. For that. I unfortunately don't believe in respecting elders. I believe in respecting everyone.
Yes.
And then if you do anything that will cost you your respect, I will have to react.
I have to give it to you.
like that. Like
I have to give it to you like that. And everyone walked shocked. Like, how dare you? Like, if they were not like, keep quiet, I was like, I don't know how you guys can keep quiet.
Wow.
Me, I have to fight.
I love that we've touched on family, we've touched on corporate now. I want to take this conversation into friendships. So we've established some pillars and some, deeper differences between the generations. How do you think these differences show up in friendships? So with the Gen X and the Gen Zs that are more confrontational, that speak up when there's injustice, how does that show up in your friendships? Versus millennials that are more reserved and endurance.
To me, I think for Gen X, because of the fact that we take in a lot of things, and even though our nature, we still want to rebel a bit, but we can't. You have a lot of right to that, friends. Because those are the people you can confide in. I remember so many times I would leave home and go and just lie on the couch in my friend's house and just shout and rant. And she would just sit there and wait for me to bring everything all out. And then you say, okay, suck it up. And then you feel good and you go back home. Or sometimes it is so much, we get a bottle of American honey and drink and just laugh and you feel good and come back home. But because of the fact that the Gen X especially, they know they can talk, they speak out on time. They don't really need so much friends that way. They're okay. I don't understand, friends. They don't. I see them change size. They change, yes, for Gen X and Gen Z especially. It's like it's a gradual thing. Gen X, they like their own company. They are the kind of person that they are okay. There's internet, there's TV, and there's light, and they have their kids. Then everybody else can go to whatever they want to go to. Yeah. Then them Gen Z is those ones. They change friends like underwear. Today, bestie, next week, and then you see and then of course they hear all their issues online, and then some of us will just sit down and watch and enjoy.
Yeah. It now becomes entertainment.
Yes.
Okay, so then how about you?
I mean, for friendship, more especially in we hardly get attached. Maybe I just meet you today and you expect me to just vibe with you. We always take our time to like familiarize with this person. We don't just jump into conclusion. Do you understand? And once we are friends with you, I mean, anything can go on with that. So for millennials, more especially, we always rely on our friends. Like, oh, look, and it's always one or two. Doesn't pass that. Do you understand? Yeah. So others might just be, let's just hang out and everything. It's always one or two. More, in fact, more of our friends are our sisters. But those are our sisters.
Yeah.
Sisters play a lot roles more than friends. But if you are my friend, you are my friend. Yeah, and I mean, Gen Z is also, that's funny. That's why I'm always saying that.
Yeah, the Andrew and
Yes. I think so too.
right.
We're there.
So when you
because I have Gen Z's friend.
yeah, how when you have conflicts with your friends, are you confrontational or how do you like navigate those situations?
Most times we're not. Yeah, we just in our heads we just believe that you know what you did wrong. So you have to femorate.
So if you find yourself cutting people off quickly without too much conversation, you just feel like if I know you did something, you too, you know you did something.
I won't say cut. I won't cut you off quickly, but I'll just give you time to. I'm always assuming like you know what you did wrong, but as time goes on, I'll be like, oh no, I'll just have to come to you and say what you did was you right. Okay, all these things. We are more calm. We don't just rush. Yeah. But Jay Z will be like, Jay Z, I don't like what you did.
As we already know.
Like,
do you agree with Miss D's earlier statement that Gen Z's change friends?
Sure.
yeah.
And that's okay.
That's
And that's why, and you said, as you said, like you have Gen Z friends.
Yeah.
But you find that Gen Z is one of people my age or younger people. Well, what I've seen is that we're able to make friends across generations. You see, like a younger person that have you as older friends, the other friends, because they get along generally, and there's a reason why. And that's because we are able to speak our mind and see each other as equals. And I feel like millennials sometimes. It's not other person think, oh my god, Sam, my grandpa, my grandma, my uncle, I can't cross their path, I can't step on their toes. But with me, I'm able to make it can be your 60s and we can be chilling, chatting out, we can be laughing. In terms of conflict, personally, I am like confrontational. And that's because I believe in speaking about issues. I also feel like our generation, and in my case, friendships are really deep to us. And there's no way that you can be so close to someone and you will not fight. And I think the worst way to fight is that you people are having issues and people just assume that
in their mind.
You don't they know what they've done because people are not as smart as we think they are. People don't also know that they've offended you. Sometimes you're fuming and you're angry at someone, but they don't even know that you're angry at them. I feel like sometimes it's even a good thing to confront issues because you give the other party the opportunity to tell you sorry.
Yeah.
Right. And you give them the opportunity to explain why they've done what they've done to you. And then you find out that, oh, they didn't intend to harm you that way. And so I find that I feel like we handle conflict the best way. And there's nothing wrong with cutting people off, generally speaking.
Yeah.
I feel anybody that's having the same friend, particularly if you've not fought or anything, like even remember you're not real friends or you're being pretentious.
Not with that.
I think that you will be running, particularly if you don't address any issues or you don't have any chance, is that possible? I feel like there's no way you can be very close to someone and you not have one or two fights. And then you fight and then you move on. And if you keep that answeredly, it's okay to cut them off and move on to someone. It is big seven. I'm like 8 days in this world.
Nice.
And you're fighting for one person. Come on.
Yeah.
Go to each guy.
But Mizzy, I want to ask you a question because there's a theory that I have in my head. I think Gen X's and Boomers, they don't end friendships.
Yeah, no,
Yes, I never do.
But why?
I have. That's why I said. I don't know. I think we're just more attached to our friends. You know, sometimes we band up together, and for we go through this. Most of us will go through all this kind of issues.
Yeah.
And then when you get like, I'm feeding off you, you're feeding off me. So we have this organic relationship and you don't want to let it go. Most times we see when we have these quarrels, the third party, the third friend, or the husband or somebody will come in and intervene and eventually die down before it gets too much. That's why you see friendships of 50 years. Yeah. Like, yes, I do have.
So
Can I tell you the reason why? Because you guys did not grow up in a digital world. Did you know that like the internet and we have global friends? So you can be in Nigeria and have a friend in Asia, in the Europe, in the US, right? But you guys were friends with each other. And you used to write letters. And there was no phone.
Yeah.
So obviously you're more likely to be friends with your friend forever. I don't think you see yourself as having much options in terms of friendships. But if you fight with all your friends in Nigeria today, you can make friends. I've had friends from my K-pop Twitter account that I've never seen in my life. Right? I've never even spoken on the phone, but we are besties online, right? And we talk about and we get along so well.
Yeah.
I'm happy to fight with everybody near me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that the world is my oyster because of my phone.
Yeah.
And because we exist where the world, you can reach any person, you can make any friend, right? I've spoken to people all over the world. So I just feel like my chances are endless. Friendships are not finite where I'm from.
But there's another point that Ms. G made that I also want to touch on, which is the issue of a mediator. In your friendships and Gen X friendships, and I want to know if it's the same with millennials, so it's definitely different for Gen Zs. There's always someone who sees two friends going wrong and cares enough to say, I was going on with this, you and your friend, not trying to settle them.
We get mediators mainly because we are closer to our friends, even more than we're closer to our spouses. And so most times when there's even conflict between husband and wife, you find one of them calling for a friend to say, come in and talk. So you are also invested in their family and they're invested in yours. And so they don't even want the friendship to end. So if anything is going wrong, they come in and because it's beneficial. So we're like that maybe because, as you said, there were no phones, there was no internet. We just had ourselves. And when you're like, you become like sisters, you're friends, and you know everything about ourselves. So mediators will come in, mothers will come in, husbands will come in, like that to make sure that the friendship stays.
I kind of say that that's also because the world is less less communal
now,
right? Community was so strong then.
Yes.
Back then, like your parents knew all your friends,
right?
and then your friends' families knew each other. But right now, you cannot even mention like 5 of my friends.
Yeah,
right. And it's so interesting to observe that happened. You find before that your parents will know every single person about your life.
You know their parents,
the family, they will hang out together. But now I think everyone is just like less. People are more individualistic. Our families are now like separated, so we don't know our friends.
But even minus families with the Gen Zs, right? You hardly see, even if there's a friendship group of 3 people and 2 start fighting, you hardly see that third person even trying to settle those 2 people. Everybody just has this mindset of
let them. So is there individual?
Say la vie.
Like I said, people just want to mind their business.
Yeah.
It's increasing now. Like, no one carries the burden of others anymore. People are very selfish nowadays. The world is hard. Like, okay, what if you now start intervening, they now start fighting with you, you not get in trouble.
So everybody's thinking
Everyone's saying about
But
themselves.
the world was hard to in our own generation.
No, you guys have it easier.
Sure. The dynamics were kind of just different.
But I think the world was hard, but from what I'm hearing, it's like they used each other. They supported each other to
Yes,
get through the
more.
hard times.
Yes.
But now we have more resources.
And
So we know
we're
much
much like we're
a
under
friend
more scrutiny
like that.
than them. No, don't you agree? Like,
Because of technology.
yeah,
Oh, true. Okay.
like we're
You
more
think about
out there.
Yeah.
People know the terms to call things, right? I feel like
It
ignorance
feels
feels
bigger.
You know what you said.
Well,
Let's hear from the millennials.
well, I think us we are more balanced. Do you understand? So growing up, we have like me growing up, I have like we are like three, but we have one particular friend that's always settling our disputes or anything growing up. So maybe if you're wrong, you say this person is this way. So it comes. So why growing up, we now meet the Gen Z, so we now understand. Now we are self-aware. Technologies like everything. So we are now okay. We can as well go online and try to talk to someone or find like, do you understand? And you have alternative, not necessarily going to. That's why you see millennials when they are growing up at a certain stage, the friends just the person that you studied with maybe university is no more your
Do you understand? I think from the millennial generation is where that whole idea of like seasonal friendships come from.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is your friend. Maybe we went to uni together, but after uni, everybody find your way. You have your NYSC friends. After NYSC, separate. But Gen X is like the friendship keeps going and going.
So many things that I've noticed about this is present generation. One is that they're not very sentimental. Because I remember talking to my son and he had this friend and I just liked the friendship. Yeah. And then one day recently I said, your friend, like, we're no longer friends. And I was like, how can you just say? He said we grew apart and then we're no longer friends. Our own generation, even if you grow apart, you're still friends.
Keep being friends.
Yeah, we are friends.
Yeah.
No matter we are friends, we stay friends. So far as there's no open confrontation and nobody's taking anybody's man or whatever, no big thing, you're still friends. And then one other thing I noticed was that, if she spoke about we can put terms to things now. I remember the first time I had the word gaslight.
oh my god.
You never had that. Oh, our parents gaslighted us so much, I'm sure. And we didn't understand that was what they were doing. I remember, it's not my dad that I would say was kind of liberal. I remember he would still see this way of gaslighting.
Yeah.
He did his own in a very nice, friendly, loving manner.
Yeah.
But he was still gaslighting. And I remember the first time I said that to my husband. I said, why are you gaslighting? You can't look at me like, what's that? But you keep talking, you've been saying gaslighting for the past as if you never had that word before. And I asked him, do you even understand the meaning of that? So I think we didn't know when you were being gaslighted. So when she's saying they're putting names, things now we are hearing things like gaslighting, you're hearing narcissistic human beings, you're hearing, now you are now beginning to understand these terms more. Now you have to understand.
Exactly.
Yes,
always
Yes, now it existed in our generation, but we didn't know that's what was going on. We just accepted. But right now we are not aware. So when you are trying to do that to me, I understand. I can't
what you're doing.
So it's like you're a doctor. So imagine if someone was sick and there was one person that just knew the name of the sickness, and there was one person that everybody went to find the drug for the sickness. But like everyone's a doctor.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone knows if you and I start fighting,
Everyone has access.
everyone, we don't need it. Just might tell us like, oh my god, Ochua, you've been bad because I can tell Ochua you're gaslighting. You say, oh no, that's not the right term to use. You call me narcissist.
Yeah.
So people are smarter now, which means that we know exactly that more self-aware. We don't necessarily need someone that knows all, like an old in Yoruba, you call it Olubawi, someone that is the greatest of all greatest, that knows the right thing to do, because everyone in their own capacity is a teacher, is a doctor, they know everything. So why do we need somebody?
I say the same thing even with conflict management. I always talk, we're all conflict management experts because you've been in conflict your whole life. You've experienced conflict since you were a child to now, and you keep experiencing conflict. So the answers are already within us. And I think technology in this generation is definitely increasing that exponentially.
As a therapist.
Yeah, as a therapist.
To my
Right?
friends.
Say hi, ChatGPT.
How you, my friend, react?
I'm going to this. What should I do? I love that. So, are there any things that over the years, in terms of tools to manage conflict better, that you've been able to pick from one generation or the other? Let's start with you. Is there anything you've been able to pick from Gen X's or even boomers or even Gen Alpha or millennials as a tool that has kind of helped you a little bit manage your conflict?
Not really. But I mean, if I would say that I've learned from like the older people that are older, so millennials, is benefits of the doubt,
Okay.
right? And not jumping to conflicts or to even need an explanation. So one thing I'm trying to learn is to not even need to go as far as sometimes allow them, right? And it can sometimes, and not to that, oh, now we're fighting or we're done. But that allow people just make mistakes, allow them to offend you, which is what millennials do also.
Yes.
Right? Allow them offend you sometimes and take the upper and or take the highway and move on. Like you don't need to close it all the time. You're like, who are you?
Right.
I mean, for Gen Zs, I'm able to pick one, just being confrontational. Do you understand? That we are millennials does not mean that we are calm. Instead that we just try to balance more emotional and everything, but most times we just have to tell you, I can't take that. Yes, you understand. I can't. This thing you're doing is not right.
Don't working for me here.
Yeah, so most millennials, I think they're just being in queue, they're aligning with just, if you're wrong here, I will tell you it's not right.
And like you said earlier, a lot of millennials are pretending. So drawing that conversation thing, get it out off your chest quickly.
Yeah.
Say how you really feel.
Right now, I just tell you, I don't like it. If you wrong me, I will tell you, this thing you're doing, I don't like already. Yeah, I don't like it. Most time, just be like, we just leave me the shades away. Yeah, but now I'll just tell you, I don't like what you did.
Exactly.
For me, I think I pick from both generations. This silence works sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't have to take everything to heart and be dramatic and cry. And sometimes just go stoic and just keep it and just stare. And then you still get your way. So I'm trying to pick that one to let it out. And then I also like what I know about agencies is their confidence.
Yeah,
They will look you in the face and call your bullshit out. And I just love that. I love the fact that they can do themselves. I love the fact that my son will wear pink hair and he won't think that it's pink is for girls. Like we think anybody wearing pink, you say, why is she wearing? Why is he wearing pink? But he will tell you, mommy, it looks good. And I like the fact that they're very accepting. And I'm beginning to learn that not to our generation, we're going to judge for Africa.
Yeah.
We'll be judging you and we'll be smiling at you and like judging. Yes. And we are thinking, she needs deliverance. Can you say God?
Yeah.
But these days I'm becoming more accepted to say why. Let him do it. Let him be who he wants to be. There's nothing wrong. Even though that one I had to be trained for that. Because I remember my children would ask me questions and ask me, that friend of mine, do you know she's gay or he's gay? And I'm like, why are you moving? And they're like, but God is love. Are you sharing love? I started looking at it from that perspective and I started saying, to me, the ones that are Christians are more Christians than our generation. We're very pretentious Christians. Our generation, we look at the Bible and we go for it word for word. Jesus wept. So we must weep when we are praying. You see them, when we are praying, we are holding the Bible. Yes, we are holding the. It still makes me laugh till now. You see it, even on movies, we see our generation, only I'm like, they carry the Bible. Yes. I think the Bible that's one. Oh, yes. Or they have babies or their grandchildren, they'll carry the Bible and put it by the end of I think that's going to be the spirit. And I look at it. But they are like, they'll let you know that why you do that. I don't have to go into church. I can usually just sit at home and still do church. And to me, that's why I said those who are Christians and asked them are more Christian than even those of us that go to church and daily and basically are all holy. And I'm beginning to become, because I will tell people that I'm not the normal Gen X. Because I like Gen Z's and I want to be more like them. Yes, I pick a lot and I just want to be, because I think it's just praying. Meaning the fact that if you see me and I'm doing something, you can say it and say it confidently and don't say it and you don't feel, and you're not thinking at the back of my head, God, this person should slap my face, so I'm doing wrong, or you're saying, Jesus Christ, forgive me. Because To me, it's sin when you know that it's sin
Yes.
and you still do it.
Yes.
But if you don't see that sin, you, only God knows who will say it.
Right. Only God knows at the end of the day, right? Okay, thank you all so much for this conversation. You've shared so many important insights. But to leave our audience, I want everybody to just go around and say one thing that you think everybody across generations should adopt, something that has been working for you when it comes to managing conflict better.
That's
First. Go ahead.
I think what works for me is the fact that I accept you for who you are. If you come to me and I see you wear the pink shade and you tell me it's black, then it's black. I'm not going to be questioning you about that. So I don't care if that's what you want, then do you. And it's been working for me.
Nice learning colors. I know, or I just have to like ignore. Yeah, just so that there won't be any conflict. Do you understand? It's not as if I'm not aware. Yeah, what you're doing, but just to tolerate it and let it go. That's it.
Mine is adopting into constructive spirits. I try to remember that every time somebody annoys me. And I try to remember 1 Corinthians 13. That's what the Lord is kind. Lord was not take offense. I say that all the time to myself. I think that it should be the general approach, right? To remember to love. Because upon everything, that's all that we have. And I always try to remember that anybody can piss me off but I need to show them love as the Bible has taught me. So yeah, that's the approach I would always advise, that read your Bible, read the so Holy Spirit, ask Holy Spirit to help you. Be more calm and take things without taking offense or easily offendable.
And I think I'll agree with Ben. That is something that also like I think is a really good approach to have. And for me, more personally, what I do now is just kind of reducing my expectations, because I think expectations can also be a really foundational aspect of conflict. Stable, not perceiving everybody like myself, accepting people like Miss D said for who they are, and not expecting everybody to behave the way you behave. Like, thank you so much, everybody, for this amazing conversation. You've heard it here, everything that we know about conflict in the context of our different generations, the things that we are still learning, and the things that we are trying to grow beyond. So try it out and let us know what you think. Bye.